It will never not be. You're right, Devin. So how do you want to start this thing tonight?
I say we just cold open.
Cold open. So, like,
welcome to the Devin Bob Show.
Oh, perfect. So, again, we're here at the Devin Bob Show. This is episode 23, and we are here to talk about some video game stuff. So, if this is the first time you're tuning in, go back and watch the other 22 episodes. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Take way too long. We're going to talk about a topic tonight that will be discussed later on the topic section, but we're also going to talk about some of the games that we're playing outside of YouTube, and we're also going to talk to a very special guest. So, Devin, we do have a guest tonight.
We do, and I'm so excited about it.
We have a guest every night. Every Monday night is when we record, and so our guest tonight is the Digital Basement himself. Welcome.
Hi, everyone.
So, Digital Basement, you have some pretty big news that I think you want to share with people. This is normally where we let you talk about your channel. I mean, we did find you on YouTube. You are part of, the inner circle that we advertise to. But I want you to go ahead and talk about what makes you, you.
Okay, so thank you for that lovely introduction. I guess I'll start with what the big news is. It broke today. I did a vlog kind of pointing it out, and then forgot in the vlog to actually tell everyone that I was going to be on this show, so I'll have to follow up with that and tell everyone. But essentially, for the longest time, I've been doing YouTube since 2010, off and on again, and I finally, I've kind of partnered up with a bigger entity than myself. I'm now working with and fully partnered with a company called EGF, which is Electronic Gaming Federation. They're an esports company that's based on collegiate esports. They're basically trying to become the NCAA of esports. They're putting together teams and doing all that kind of cool stuff for the esports side of things. But then they are also having this whole media division they're getting up and running. And I'm basically one of the founders of the video production and content creation side of that. So it's really cool, and this is just huge opportunity for me. And I'm just super excited about that. So that went public today.
Dude,
that's awesome, man.
Yeah, that is so completely awesome. I have so many questions and so many, things that have come to my mind. So I read the website a little bit. You did give me the EGF website. It will be in the description. We will also put in the description the link to your YouTube. So explain a little bit how they're trying to become the NCAA. So I did see a section that allowed for college students to sign up.
Yeah, so there's a couple different ways. Again, I'm kind of new to the whole company, so if, some of the things I say aren't exactly, how they are, forgive me. But so it can be a couple of different ways. You can have students who can come in and say, hey, I want to bring EGF in. It can be faculty come in and say, hey, I want in it. And it's more designed for a professional kind of collegiate kind of real thing level. It's not designed towards like clubs. That's not what the intention of it is. This is trying to be like they're having actual tournaments. They're doing conferences. I mean, they've got schools from east to west coast, and the first season is starting up this fall, and it's everyone's really excited about it. And I'm kind of interested to see how it kind of does.
Yeah, and you're spearheading the video production section of it, correct?
Yes. So the media division right now consists heavily of writers. They have a bunch of writers who are covering, they're reviewing games. There's some internal stuff I saw today where they're talking about E3 coverage. They're live tweeting it. They're writing formal articles. They're doing reviews on new, old games. It's kind of just like this big amalgamation of writers coming together and putting just their writing up about everything video game related. And we're kind of trying to bring that up with the video side of things. So I'm working close together with the CEO. His name's Tyler. And, I'm always an idea guy. For fans of the show, people who follow us, and as you said, like the people that you pander to would probably know Instant Replay Live, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So Nick can attest that I am a huge idea guy. Anytime I'd have something, I'd run it by him, and I'm pretty sure I annoyed him at a few points about like trying to do things. and now I'm going to have a team, and I can actually start to do things. So I'm really excited. Like, I'm pretty sure I've talked my CEO's ear off about all the different things that I want to do. Because, I mean, like I said, I've been doing YouTube for, 5-6 years, and I've had all these bright ideas, but could never really accomplish them by myself.
Yeah, man, that is so awesome, and congratulations. Did you want to plug your actual YouTube channel, or
I didn't. So my name is Zach. The channel is Digital Basement. Digital Basement's more like a show name. It's kind of like the brand that I kind of throw myself under. So I have a few different series of videos. The last big one that I was really proud of was a Final Fantasy X Let's Play series. Final Fantasy X is my favorite game of all time. I have a tattoo of Final Fantasy X. So being able to share that, and it was just so fun to play that and kind of discuss all of the little themes and all of the motifs and all of the stuff that's happening on screen to people. And I had just a blast playing it.
Yeah, Final Fantasy X was definitely one of my favorites. Did you get into the expansions or the peripheral games that they came out with?
So are we talking about Final Fantasy X-2 here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
I don't recognize X-2 as a canonical entry to the series. Except, so I do make one exception for that. So the only good thing I think that comes out of X-2 is the link between 10, the world of Spira, and Final Fantasy VII.
Okay.
Do you guys know about that?
I don't. I would.
So, I mean, one of the main characters in X-2 is this little kid named Shinra. And halfway through the game, he starts talking about trying to tap into this renewable energy source that's all flowing around the planet, and the spheres that are all in Spira with 10 and 10-2 kind of start to really sound a lot like materia. And so there's all these like little connections right there where supposedly if once it's more of a headcanon thing. I don't think it's ever been like firmly established, but it's not that big of a leap to state that Final Fantasy X, all the world of Spira, takes place in a primitive world of Final Fantasy VII. They share the same world, just different times.
That's definitely interesting, because I do find the later iterations kind of weird for it to be after the Final Fantasy VII, setting.
Yeah.
But
well, I mean, X-2 is just really weird in general. The whole, I hate everything about X-2. I really tried to play it, and I tried to beat it, and then I got about halfway through and my memory card got wiped, and then I just never cared to replay. I didn't care enough to get the ending of the story.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Because that was pre-YouTube, so I just, I had to go without.
all the articles and the walkthroughs and all that garbage.
Yeah.
But that's pretty awesome, man. Again, congratulations on your new position, and I'm super excited to see where that goes for you. It's it's always good to see people do something bigger than just themselves, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm super excited. Any opportunities, I've already talked to guys, because I mean, as one of the founders of that division and like putting all these ideas together, I'm already looking at any point where I can bring in old friends for any kind of project. I'm already like looking at opportunities I can bring in some friends.
Yeah, definitely, man. So we're going to go ahead and take that time to go into our next segment called Stuff You Play. So cue the bumper, Devin.
Stuff You Play!
Love it. Again, thank you, Golem the Goblin, for that beatbox that you did. It was great. So, for many of you that, if this is your first time tuning in, Stuff You Play is a video game that Devin, myself, and our guest, Zach, are playing outside of our YouTube roles or just for fun. Unfortunately, mine aren't just for fun. Mine do go to YouTube, but that's a story for a different time. So, as always, we will start with our guest. Zach, what are you playing? What games do you want to highlight for our audience?
Oh man. So, I mean, that's a tough question, because like a lot of the stuff that I'm playing right now is gonna wind its way to YouTube as well. So, I mean, the big one that sinks a lot of my time away is Smite. I'm completely addicted to it. I love that game.
Is that your MOBA choice?
It is. So, way back when I was in the Navy, I'd never played a MOBA, and then some guys that I worked with had played Dota, and they were like, "Oh, you gotta play it. It's so fun." So I played Dota, kind of really liked it, got into it. It was the first real MOBA game I played, but they all fell off, and then I was thrown to the wolves of the community. Just didn't want to play anymore, and I was too young. I was, too innocent, nubile for.
Yeah.
The
MOBA
blessings of the solo queue.
So I dropped that, and then my buddy, who was also in the Navy with, all he would play for the longest time was Smite, and we wouldn't be able to play games together that often. So I finally downloaded just to be able to play games with him, and he finally got me hooked after a year of trying to get me playing it.
So are you playing on PC or Xbox One or PS4?
So I have it on PC, and the other day I got curious to see how a MOBA would feel on the Xbox. So I downloaded and I loaded it up, and it's a whole hassle getting it to load up anyway. Like, you have to do this whole tutorial thing. And I was like, this is dumb, but whatever. And also, I could do a major gripe and rant, because you can connect your accounts. You can connect your PC account to your Xbox account, but it doesn't carry over your gods or any of that.
So none of your purchases or stuff you've earned from playing move over with you.
You have to completely start from scratch.
That's
there was
kick in the balls.
There was one point where they had where everything would carry over, but they shut it down after like a very brief amount of time. So it's like, why would you do that? I'm not gonna spend another $20-$30 on the god pack again just to have all the gods. So there's that. But then I got into the actual game, chose my beginner god, free rotation god of choice, and then proceeded to stomp on everybody. It was this feeling of immense power that I knew everything and they knew nothing.
So yeah, dude, I love Smite. I play on Xbox. Well, I did. I don't play anymore. But my god of choice was Zeus, and it was one of those. So it started during the beta, and right before it came, full release on the Xbox One. And man, people just don't get that game for some reason, and
they don't. The worst thing is so coming from like the actual PC community where it's played the right way, in air quotation marks. I loaded up like the competitive gameplay type, the Conquest, and since you threw out your god of choice, you said you're a Zeus player. I main Apollo. He's my guy.
Really?
So Hunter ADC for life.
Yeah, really. I hated Apollo.
Oh, Apollo's so good. But anyway, so I loaded up, went into the competitive gameplay, and then they treated it like they were animals.
It's team deathmatch to them.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was a team deathmatch. They didn't stick to lanes. They don't know how to buy the items. I mean, I expected to go into, the competitive game type, and that's where I would find the people who wanted to play Smite and knew how to play Smite. But I was wrong. I was so wrong.
Yeah, that is bad news, to be honest. It's so hard because people, I don't want to compare Xbox to PC because I started on the Xbox, but it's like people don't get it, and they don't know how to lane. They don't know how to fucking play the game. They don't know how to support. They all pick dumb gods that it's just like, stop.
Well, I think it's also the fact that like it's just a MOBA and it doesn't lend itself well because it's a free game. So I think most people only play with the free gods, and the free gods aren't necessarily the good gods.
Yeah, I hear you.
I think it also highlights the difference between PC gamers and console gamers. The great majority of console gamers are the people who put their kids to bed and have an hour or two to play. Once the house gets quiet, they're not going to take the time to learn a game inside and out. That's why a game like Call of Duty is so popular on consoles, because you can literally put a controller in somebody's hand and they can run around and have fun. There's no real strategy involved.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And man, I love Smite. So, are you still playing on PC or are you on Xbox One now?
Oh no,
Mainly.
I couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand the not challenge. As soon as I played my one game and got enough like favor to rent a god, I rented Apollo, and I had like 5 straight games of like 32-0, and I was just like,
Jeez.
this isn't fun. I'm not enjoying myself. I'm just stomping on these kids. So I went back. I mean, like, I'm kind of a masochist anyway. Like I attempted to go into the world of the ranked games in Smite, and whoo wee, that was. Haven't been back since I tried, so.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of funny. I have a MOBA on my list too, and I'll talk about a story that happened actually while I was recording last week's video. But let's go ahead and go to Devin. Devin, what game are you playing, man?
I picked up a little tiny game that I had gotten in a Humble Bundle called Mushroom 11. And it's kind of a puzzle game. You've got this giant blob of green stuff, and the object is to get it through the level. And you use almost like the eraser tool in Photoshop to move it. If you erase off the back of it, it goes to the front of this mass of jelly or whatever you want to call it. And so you have to like erase around the edges and use the eraser to like bridge over gaps and get it into tight places and keep it from falling into lava. And I just turned it on because I'd gotten it in a bundle and was like, I'll give it a try or whatever. And I spent 3 hours playing this game. It's one of those games where it looks like it's not going to be anything that's going to hold your interest. And then you start clicking and you're done. That's just the rest of your night.
So, I mean, who makes it, and what is it? Have levels? It kind of almost feels like a Lemmings type of game where you just try and get it to there without killing it.
There are levels. It is made by, I cannot remember off the top of my head, but there are levels. There's boss fights, so you have to use your green goo to like take out bosses and be strategic with where you're erasing it. You can cut it in half and then have the 2 pieces. It's a lot of fun. I'm trying to figure out if I can find out where.
It's definitely one of those games where you can pick it up and I'm not going to say it's mindless, but it's just about where you're just like, everything's really natural.
It's fluid. Yes.
Yeah, it flows. I kind of ran into the same thing. I got it in a Humble Bundle and I played it and I was like, oh, this is really fun. It was kind of relaxing to a degree as well, because it's just like, there's something very nice about how the mechanics work together and how it just works, and the fluidity of it is like very nice, and having your little goo monster squishing through all these tight spaces, it's something nice. It's kind of like a 3D background from like the 90s.
Well, it reminds me of Earthworm Jim, the background.
Yeah, it's like post-apocalyptic looking.
No, I just meant like the green blob itself moving around and like contorting to all these different geometrical shapes and stuff. Kind of reminds me of like just an early 90s 3D graphics.
Yeah, I can see that.
It does look like the developer was Untame, was the name of the developer. This might have been one of their first games.
Nice. Yeah, I'll have
but
to.
It grabbed me. I did not intend to come on here and talk about that little game, but out of everything I played this week, it was the one that left the most impression. My 3-year-old daughter was sitting next to me watching me play, and she was just glued. She was said I had to get the green liquid. She's like, "Did you fall in the lava?" I'm like, "No, I didn't fall in the lava."
No, but I did not die.
Yes, you're not paying attention.
Why are you not watching this?
But it's very easy to chill out with, and you just find yourself kind of melting into the game a little bit.
It's one of those games where I would put it in. So like I had just an indie game show kind of type of thing where I would just play 10 minutes of a game, be like, all right, this is my thoughts on it, and I would put it in those categories. It's like an airport game. You're sitting there and you want to play something, but you don't really want to play something too intensive. So it's just something like you can play it and you could waste an hour or whatever you need to do very quickly, very easily.
Oh, honestly, I found myself wishing that it was on some kind of mobile platform, so that I could play it like 10 minutes at a time or something.
I'm sure there is something very similar to it if it doesn't have plans to move over to like a mobile device. Because I mean, the mechanics of you pushing it around and everything, just go hand in hand with the mobile market.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I love games like that. So I'm actually not my game of the week, but one of the games I'm playing is a mobile game called Nonstop Night, and it's a little dungeon crawler where the guy moves himself around the dungeon, but you have 3 different skills that you choose from, and then you just start killing stuff. And so you level up, and then you can kind of ascend and keep all the skills that you get from ascending. I mean, it's a fun little game, and I'd sit there and play it when I have downtime, and it works in the background. So if you're not playing it, it'll sit there and work and gain coins and all that stupid stuff in the background. But it's one of those mindless games that I don't have to think. I don't have to do this. So, but
at least when I say something like that, I'm sure you're saying the same thing. A game that you don't have to think about isn't a knock on a game.
Oh no, not at all.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, a game like that to me is a game where I can de-stress. So,
yeah.
Like, I would almost put Call of Duty into that because I don't have to think. I can run around and just shoot stuff. I don't have to think about what I'm doing. I'm not going for the professional gamer. I'm not going for, competitive gaming. I'm going to shoot something. Or in this case, I'm going to just play a little mobile game that I don't have to think about what I'm doing. And that, to me, has a lot of value. I work in a high-stress job outside of, making the millions of dollars that I make here. I mean, it's a high-stress job, and it's 24/7, so it doesn't stop. And games like that are what really keep me grounded, you know what I mean? But,
oh, yeah.
So my game of the week, Devin, I think you've mentioned it before, and it kind of goes along with what Zach was saying, is a MOBA. I don't play MOBAs. I hate them. I've played Smite. I like Smite. I feel like that's a different kind of MOBA than LoL or Dota 2. But it's Heroes of the Storm.
Oh. Okay.
That, and as Bob probably knows, that is my MOBA of choice.
So I played the free character, and I feel like I get him. So Azul, the necromancer from Diablo, is the free character this week, and I felt like I get him and get his place out. And man, I won 4 in a row. Just quick plays, I went in by myself. I had a pretty decent team.
Isn't that just the best? Like,
yeah.
it took me the longest time to finally get Smite. So, like, and I played for a long time, not having that much fun. I was only playing because my buddy was playing. And then you pick that one character, just, randomly. And then all of a sudden, it's like that Neo moment. It's like, oh, I understand. I get it.
Yeah.
It's like, all it takes is that one character, and then everything kind of starts to fall in place. Like, oh, so I know how to do this with this guy. And then you just slowly start to learn that same process with other characters. And it's the best feeling in the world to, like, everything finally click into place.
Absolutely. So I'm not even ranked 10 in Heroes of the Storm. I'm not good. But with this guy, I played more of the support role, and I was right there assisting. So I kind of tanked almost, but not a tank with, Zul, because he's not a tank. But I had the most assists. I had like 35 assists. And like five hero kills because he's not a huge damage outputter, at least how I was playing him. But it was fun. I had a good time. It was kind of funny. So what you talked about, the scourge of going into play by yourself without a party. I was playing a game of Heroes of the Storm, and the sad thing was it was one where you had to collect the tokens, and then it cursed the other team. I don't remember the map. I don't know them that well. But so the token dropped, and one guy was there trying to defend it. He defended 3 guys by himself for a while, and then he starts typing, and this is where it goes bad. So he's like, "What are you noobs doing?" And he just noobs, like he spams it. It's like, dude, I'm leaving our spawn, and there's 3 guys right there. I can't really just leave, And it's like, really? And so it's actually, I picked it up. If you haven't seen last video, it's in the second game I played. It is in the video, him typing like a dickhead. And it's like, really? So you're a douchebag. I hate that.
Yeah, BMs is just it's a huge part of the MOBA community, and I feel like it's much more the MOBA community than anything else, and I don't know why.
Well, I can think I have an idea on that, and it's because there is the professional element to MOBAs. You know, that's the game that the eSports players play, and so I think that there's a large chunk of people that are out there ranked 10 that think they're a future e-game professional, and they might be, but they're ranked 10 and they're playing with a bunch of people who are filthy casuals. And
right,
so
and that's the thing. Like, I'm the highest level you can be in Smite, and I'm still playing casual because I know I'm not pro. I'm not that guy.
yeah.
Right.
So it's like, and I'm never upset when people do bad because, like, I understand. I'm in a casual game with casual players.
But yeah, unfortunately, the competitive nature of it just turns people into douchebags. I mean, it was like that in Counter-Strike when I would play pub games, and I would be on IRC trying to get fucking picked up for a 5v5 eSports. I don't even remember what they called it back in the day, but it was, oh, you play for that? Yeah, I wasn't very good, but it was, people just get so upset, and it's the competitive nature in people. It's like children that don't know how to harness, their frustration. So it's sad. Sad.
Have you tried any other characters besides the one you tried?
So I do own Tyrael. I like Tyrael. I've played Kerrigan, and I've played Diablo. So
okay.
I like Tyrael. I like Zool. Kerrigan was kind of fun because she had those claws that come up that bring them to you.
Yes.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I've tried.
I main Sonya. I like crowd control, and Sonya is my go-to in Heroes of the Storm.
Nice. I did try Jaina, I guess, but I wasn't very good with the mage. So, but that's going to do for stuff you play. So let's go ahead and go into the topic. So the topic is where we talk about, some of the video game industry trends, maybe something video game related. It's hard not to talk about E3 because it's going on right now. I guess Sony's having their press release right now as we're talking, not when it's going to be released. So it'll be a week later. And man, my phone is blown up. So
yeah, mine is too. I was very tempted to just put on YouTube in the background, but I was afraid I'd start screaming at something I saw in the middle of the show.
Yeah, and so we're not going to talk about E3 on E3 day. It's so hard. But we are going to talk about video game movies, and movies that really may be inspired by a video game, may be directly related to a video game franchise, or it may just have a video game name and have nothing to do with video games. So,
and what kind of brought us to this topic was the fact that Warcraft bombed on its opening. I think it did 24 million over a good summer weekend, which is horrible. And that kind of got us thinking about how I think most people would say that video game movies are typically bad.
I would agree. So we've prepped Zach before, and he said he's going to play devil's advocate today. So before you do that, Zach, I'm going to go ahead and prime the listener.
All right. Make my job harder.
So that's what we're here for, man.
Yeah, and you already had a giant hill to climb before we even started this.
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of the video game movies that do come out, you have to admit, are bad. So Warcraft, it looks fun. I'll watch it because I'm a fan of Blizzard and I like World of Warcraft and the Warcraft. I started with Warcraft 1, 2, and 3, and I just love the lore and what is Warcraft. But then you have movies like Halo, which was terrible. And then you have the Final Fantasy. So you talked about Final Fantasy X earlier. You have the Spirits Within, which was atrocious. So that wasn't...
Hey now.
Hey,
yeah,
you get...
Wait a minute. Yeah,
No.
I did not agree to bashing on Spirits Within.
Spirits Within is a great animated movie. It has nothing to do with anything Final Fantasy related. but it's a good animated movie.
Did you just say yes? It does, Devin, have something to do with Final Fantasy?
No, I meant to say yes, it is, and my brain just farted out on me. But yeah, yes, it is. It's a very good animated movie, and I think people forget that. I mean, it was really, really advanced animation at the time that it came out.
So I didn't like it.
Well, you suck.
Well, I do.
I mean,
and
it was. I don't know. The cast was great. The animation itself was great. I mean, it didn't have anything to do with like Final Fantasy. I mean, it had a guy who looked like Barrett. I mean, it had a Sid,
which was Ving Rhames, by the way.
Yeah, it was good. But again, it had nothing to do with Final Fantasy. I think that's a lot of where the disconnect comes with video game movies, is that a lot of the time they're using the name. But even that one was weird because it was Square. So you can't, it's like Square made a new Final Fantasy game, said, here it goes. And then people were like, well, that's not Final Fantasy. It's like, yes, it is. We made this. This is literally us making this. We're telling you it is.
That'd be like Miyamoto saying, this is Mario. And everybody being like, that's not Mario.
Yeah, like it is. So and to jump onto your Warcraft comments, from what I've read and from what I've understood, is that from a movie person perspective, the Warcraft movie isn't good. From somebody who plays Warcraft, it's a good movie. It's a good representation of Warcraft, and people who have played Warcraft and know the lore will have a good time.
So, before we go into Warcraft, some of the other movies that, in my opinion, again, Bob's opinion from the Devin Bob show, like the Mario movie that came out, I loved it as a kid, but if I tried to go back and watch it with my knowledge now, I would think it was atrocious.
Right.
The Lara Croft movies are terrible. And
hold up, you're bashing on the Lara Croft movies?
So
yeah, those are bad movies. So now Zach's lost me.
So okay, but those are bad. But I kind of to steer it back to the Warcraft movie. I usually use IMDb as a pretty good gauge for whether I'm going to enjoy a movie or not. So if on IMDb it's sitting at about 5.5 and above, I can probably enjoy the movie. That's generous. I mean, it's usually about 6, the 6-star rating that I like it. But help me out why Warcraft's bad, Devin, because it's sitting at 7.7 out of 10 from 60,000 users.
I was talking about it more from the aspect that the movie bombed. They were expecting it to be a big moneymaker, and it, at least here in America, it does not seem like it's going to be at all. And it did not get great critical reception, and that might be like what Zach was saying, whereas if you're a fan of Warcraft, you probably have a little more to get invested in, but I mean, it's a movie for the common movie-going public. They don't make movies that are for a small subset of people. They make movies to be mass appeal and have something that everybody can enjoy in it. And from that aspect, it does seem like it's a bomb, and that it's not a good movie. And I'll admit I haven't seen it yet. I want to see it just because, like you, I'm a big Blizzard and Warcraft fan. But I mean, the fact that it does seem to be underperforming when they really wanted this movie to do well, it's another in the long line of video game movies that studios have expected to do well and haven't. And they've tried multiple different ways of making it work. They've tried making movies that are true to the source material, and they haven't done well. They've tried making movies that are just share the same name and are completely different, and they haven't done well. So there has to be something else going on here. Do they not give quality people the reins of the movie? Is it the fact that regular moviegoers, when they find out that a movie is based on a video game, they automatically tune out? There's got to be something that's causing these movies not to get any traction.
Well,
I think, personally, when we talk about video game movies and things like that, the biggest disconnect between the game and the movie is games have become their own narrative format. They don't tell a story like anything else. Not like a show, not like a movie, not like a book. Like, it is its own thing. And that makes it incredibly hard to take that story and then put it in this 120-minute encapsulated form. You have to get everything about that is that game. You have to get everything about the characters, the story, the themes, the plots. You've got to get, the atmosphere all in. And that's hard to do because games can have 60 hours to do all that.
Yeah.
They can.
Go ahead.
And their pacing. That's a huge thing. So, like, Uncharted would be a terrible movie.
Yeah,
great game.
I was actually going to say Last of Us was going to be my example. There's no way that a movie version of Last of Us could have the emotional impact that 40 hours of playing with Joel and Ellie did. By the time that's done, you feel like Ellie is like your kid, and you are invested in what happens to her. And there's no way that a movie or television show, unless it was multiple seasons, could do what that game does in 40 hours.
Absolutely. And I think that's where video game movies, the companies that make the movies, they know that. They know they can't do that. So they opt to make something a little less in depth, and they go for something that's just mindless. You can watch and have a good time, and that's why I will defend at least the first Lara Croft movie. It's a movie you can turn on and have a good time watching. It's like it's an American movie. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I'm gonna pop a beer, I'm gonna sit on. It's a summer day, I'm gonna watch that. Like that's what, and I feel like that's a good movie. Anything that I can watch at least once, have a fun time experience, like whatever, that's a good movie. I think the Lara Croft movie, good, decent movie. I think Prince of Persia was a good, decent movie.
What? Oh man! So I was just going to say, so Ubisoft has kind of. They're trying to take their universe that they've created within video games into the big screen now. So a lot of announcements have come out. So Assassin's Creed has been out for a little bit. The Division is coming out, and
I think they're doing a Far Cry movie.
Yeah, they're doing Far Cry. They're doing some of the Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon, and so, but they're getting big actors, right? So for Assassin's Creed, they're getting. Michael Fassbender to be, I want to say he's going to be the actual Desmond and like Ezio and the, when you go back in the animus.
He's the assassin.
Right. And then, so for the Division, they're getting Jake Gyllenhaal, which I love Jake Gyllenhaal as an actor. I think he's great. I think pretty much everything he's been in, with the exception of Prince of Persia, has been a great movie.
Do you say that because it wasn't to the source material?
Partially. So partially why I say that is, one, it's not to the source material. It's kind of like it. I thought it was a bad movie, but I also think part of it that irritates me is Jake Gyllenhaal's not Persian. So they whitewash the movie with Jake Gyllenhaal, Ben Kingsley, who's, British, and so it's like they whitewash the Prince of Persia, which he does look like a Persian in the video game, to be white. And so that kind of bugs me to an extent because, he's white. And
well, I mean, Ben Kingsley he can pass. Like, he gets a pass for me in that. I mean, he looks like he could be of some sort of foreign descent. So, I mean, with the makeup, with the accent, everything he did, I think you could very well say, all right, that's a believable Persian. And it's not like they had like a really heavy accented Persian dude do the voice acting for Prince of Persia. It was very. I mean, if I can look it up, but I can almost guarantee it was some scrawny little white dude who does about 50,000 different voice actors for little games.
So I'm actually going to look that up while you guys continue to talk about Ubisoft.
Yeah,
but sorry, I wanted to finish my.
I'll point out that I think another issue that makes video games typically bad movies is that I don't think the studios have confidence in them, and so they get over involved in it.
I would absolutely agree. I think it's like what we just saw with like the DC movie, the Superman versus Batman or whatever it was. You had a frame of a good movie, and then it's like the studios came in and said, "Yeah, you got to add this, 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 and this because we're going to do another movie, and you got to cram it in." Now here you go. Well, he's like, "I don't want to." Like, no, do it.
So before we go back into Batman, the Prince in Prince of Persia is Nolan North, which I don't know how many people know who Nolan North is.
Of course it is.
But he has been credited with 330 voice acting, maybe films, maybe TV shows, something. So, but it's kind of funny you guys bring up Uncharted. He's Nathan Drake.
Well, is that the last one, the PS4 version or what, the PS3 version, the last one that came out, and they haven't really done another one since then, where he's like Roman. Like, he wasn't really a prince of Persia, like at that point. Like
it was the 2009 Prince
the
of
reboot,
Persia. Yeah. So it was that one. I mean, I don't think the other ones had voice acting, other than
I
just
think the
maybe
PS2 era one did. I think like the Sands of Time era.
Yeah, it had to. Why is that not coming up?
I can't. I'm drawing a complete blank. I played all those games, and I cannot remember if there was voice acting in it or not.
I almost like there was. There has got to be.
Yeah. Anyways, so you're right, but he was a white guy that did the voice. But the funny thing is, so Jake Gyllenhaal is now doing the star of The Division, and they also gave him director, which is crazy to me.
Well, I'm more okay with that than I would be if they just found some guy who did music videos for a long time, like Zack Snyder, and just let them have the reins of it. Like, it's this weird, like, balance thing where on one hand, they don't trust people who are fans of video games to make a good video game film. But then on the other hand, they don't actually give necessary or proper resources needed to make a good, high quality, A-grade Hollywood blockbuster. So it's almost like they just want to do the bare minimum they have to. I just dropped a Lego. They just want to do the bare minimum they have to try and get something passable. I was going to say earlier, it's almost like video games are where comic books were 15 years ago. Comic book movies. Where, the X-Men movies, 1 and 2 were really successful, and then they had to make 3 the way that the studio wanted it because they didn't have confidence in it.
And 3 is a bad example because I think like everything about 3 came back to one executive who is no longer with that studio, and he basically said no to everything, and the reason that like everything bad about that movie can be traced back to that one guy.
Okay, well then, I mean, there's Daredevil, there's Fantastic Four,
there's Daredevil. You can't include Daredevil in that movie either, in that category. Because Daredevil was released as a shitty edit to the theaters.
Oh, I've seen the director's cut, yeah.
Yeah, if you ever go back and actually watch the director's cut of Daredevil, that's a good movie. Like, there's nothing wrong with that movie. It's just, it was shittily edited for theatrical release.
Yeah, which is unfortunate. But I did misquote, he is not the director, he's the producer, so sorry about that.
Okay. Also, a quick going back to the Prince of Persia, the original from the PS2 era, Sands of Time, is Yuri Lowenthal, who is famous for doing Ben 10.
Yep.
Just
nice.
Wanted to throw that out there.
Nice. So, okay. So we got our point in about all of these shitty movies. Zach, I want you to go ahead and rebut. All of it. All that we said. You have to come back and rebut everything we said.
Okay, so...
Point by point, in order, double spaced.
I've already kind of said, like, I feel like the a lot of the things with there's a different pace between what a movie can be and what a game is. And that's just inherently, as video games progress, their narrative style and being able to devote so much time, they can, kind of pace everything very differently. So you have different ways. And I mean, you absolutely hit the nail on the head where video games for a long time have been where the early comic book movies were, where they didn't know how to approach it. Nobody had done it well. They're still trying to figure out, like, what's the formula here? And, I think a couple of times they've gotten close. Like I said, like my definition for is this a good movie? Is this, can I sit down? Can I watch it? Can I, if I can turn off and watch it and enjoy it, that's a good movie. Or if I can really dig deep and like kind of have to think about what's actually going on. I mean, I can enjoy that too. But Lara Croft, at least the first one, the second one was not as good. Or maybe it was the second one that was good. I don't remember. I just remember if I was at home, and I was flipping the channels on like a really hot summer day, and I saw the Tomb Raider movies on, I'd watch them. And at the end of the day, that's all they need to be.
I think we are very different moviegoers, because for me, the worst thing a movie can be is just okay. That's the quickest way to make me not want to ever watch a movie again. I will watch the fuck out of bad movies because they're bad. And there's a fun element to that. And I will watch, great movies to death. But if your movie is just, boring and run-of-the-mill and doesn't have anything that is going to...
See, that's not an okay movie. That's not a decent movie. If it's boring and all that, that's not an okay, decent movie. A decent movie has its parts. Like, you can't say, like, the opening action sequence in Tomb Raider where she's fighting the goddamn robot, that wasn't fun to watch. That's a fun scene. That's a fun act.
Yeah,
no, I can't say that because
I can't agree with you.
but I think, kind of back to what you guys were saying, we can go into how shitty Tomb Raider is all day long, or how good it is, whatever you want, right? We could do that literally all day long. But with that said, I think where we're at now is where Marvel was when they started with the MCU. I think we're at a point where I'm hoping Ubisoft does it right, because they have such a big catalog or big, section of movies that are coming out that is going to be amazing if they do it right. But if they do it...
That's the big key. I mean, and it depends on how hard they shoehorn it. Because they're going to do it. They're going to shoehorn it a little bit.
The nice thing about Ubisoft games is that they're basically sandboxes. So you've got the basic storyline, but I don't think anybody's going to be upset if, say, the Far Cry movie doesn't exactly follow the storyline. As long as it's got, a guy in the jungle fighting animals and toppling some gangster, I think nobody will be upset by that.
But where they can go wrong, and very easily go wrong, is that all the Ubisoft games are in the same universe. So shoehorning it all together...
I don't want that, yeah.
They're going to do it. They're going to try. There's going to be something. And there's two ways they can go. They can go the subtle route. They can include like a news clipping in the background or something like that. Or they're going to try to put the Templars and Assassins with Far Cry. They're going to try to bridge that gap. They're going to either try that, or it's going to be like a subtle tattoo or a patch on like one of the Division guys' jacket. Now, if it's that, I would appreciate a little subtleness like that. That's a nod to what they're already doing. But anything overt, they're going to lose it. They're going to lose everybody.
Yeah, I agree. I really hope they don't do that, because if they do it, it's going to be atrocious. But we are at our time. So if you guys think that there is some redeeming qualities to the movies that video games make, go ahead and leave a comment below. If you guys are excited about the fucking Ubisoft movies or anything else that's coming out that we may have missed, you want to leave a quick review on Warcraft, go ahead and do that below. No spoilers, though. Don't be that guy. Be sure to check out some of our other episodes that we have. So we do have the Full Nelson, which should be coming out. It came out this last Friday, episode 2. Unfortunately, the first one was kind of screwed, I guess you could say. because of fair use laws and all that bullshit. So be sure to check it out, and then be sure to check out Devin's retro turds that he does, NES, Super NES, or SNES as some people call it. And be sure to check out, I guess we don't do Hearthstone Corner and To the Left anymore, so we got to figure that one out.
To be determined. TBD.
So also be sure to check out the Digital Basement. So the link is in the description. Be sure to check out EGF. Am I saying that's correct, right?
Yeah, EGF.
So be sure to check all of that out. It's fun, man. I am super excited. I'm super happy that, you got that opportunity and look forward to where it goes.
Yeah, same here. There's a lot of potential, and there's a lot of stuff in the works that everyone's going to enjoy.
Absolutely. So, and that's going to do it for us. I appreciate everybody, sticking with us for 50 minutes. Again, thank you, Zach. You were an awesome guest, and I look forward to it, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, see you guys.
Bye.
Hey everybody, this is Devin.
And this is Bob.
We want to thank you for watching the video. If you like what you watch, make sure that you like the video and subscribe to the channel as well.
Be sure to check out some of our other videos that are appearing on your screen as we speak.